I've spoken out at a national level against the legalization and expansion of euthanasia in Canada. But the most personal and profound preparation for this role was when my own father made a plea for euthanasia in 2009, some 3 years before I started this work. My father was an insurance salesman who lived out his Christian faith by helping others. In his 70s, he was diagnosed with squamous cell skin cancer on the bowl of his right ear. It was a terrible cancer which eroded the side of his head and distorted his features. The medication meant that he had no pain, but the time in hospital and concerns about my mother were wearing on him more than I knew. One day, during a meeting with the palliative care physician, my dad asked for help. As the conversation continued, it became clear he wanted the doctor to end his life. I left my dad and the hospital that day dismayed. I asked God how I could help my father in this low point in his life. Sitting by his bedside one day, I asked him, "Why is it that you want to end your life?" He answered clearly and quickly, "It's because I can't help anybody anymore." In the days and weeks that followed, I decided to help him to see how he could still help others. Dad had made a donation to help pay for a large renovation project at his church and wished that he could see the new space. His minister and I arranged to take Dad, catheter and all, to the church to see the results of the project. The parishioners were so happy to see him. On the way out the door of the hospital that day, Dad encountered a man sitting alone on a bench. My father said the man's name and offered his condolences for the recent loss of the man's wife. I saw then how my father's compassion touched the grieving man. When we returned to the hospital later that day, I reminded my father about all the people he had helped just on that day alone. He began to see that despite his illness, he was still able to help others. And he also saw that his loving family welcomed the opportunity to show our love for him in gratitude for all that he had done for us. One day I asked my father how I would know that he had made it to heaven after he passed away. He said jokingly, "I'll come back." Dad's funeral, when it did arrive, was sad, but had a strong undercurrent of resurrection joy. His grandchildren read the scripture. I gave the eulogy, and as the choir rose to sing "It Is Well With My Soul," a lovely and strong beam of light illuminated my family. It streamed into the church through the face of Christ in the stained glass window in the balcony and landed like a miracle on that first pew, comforting us with its warmth and its light. My brother, holding my mother's hand, whispered, "Dad is here." And we took this as a sign from God that Dad, the lifelong insurance agent, had been perfectly on time for his final appointment with God. Thank you, and God bless you.